You're listening to the MIDES Sentiments.
Hey guys, we are back again with yet another podcast, and this week we will be talking a bit about Caroll Shelby, an American automotive designer.
Caroll Shelby was also a racing driver, entrepreneur, and an author. Shelby is best known for his involvement with the AC Cobra and the Mustang, later known as Shelby Mustangs, for the Ford Motor Company, which he modified during the late 1960s and early 2000s.
He established Shelby American in 1962 to manufacture and market performance vehicles, as well as Caroll Shelby Licensing in 1988, which grew into Caroll Shelby International. He was also the author of his autobiography titled The Caroll Shelby Story.
Here are the few facts which we found interesting about Caroll Shelby.
Before he was 30, Caroll was one of the best drivers in the world. His first ever road race was in 1952 when he took a woefully underpowered British MG to a race in Oklahoma, beating everyone in his engine class before destroying the vastly superior Jaguar XK120, which was a class above him. Needless to say, it was onwards and upwards from there.
He helped invent the victory spraying ritual. No one had ever shaken up a bottle of bubbly to celebrate victory before Ford GT40 driver Dan Gurney spontaneously sprayed everyone nearby. Guess who's right next to him whispering in his ear? It was Shelby.
He literally invented the Cobra in his dreams. Shelby frequently had ideas in the middle of the night and would forget them by morning. So he kept a pencil and paper by his bed. One morning he woke and found he'd written the word Cobra, and the rest is history.
The Super Snake Cobra was built as Shelby's personal rocket ship. In 1965, Caroll designed the Super Snake as the ultimate Cobra for his personal enjoyment. So it's got two superchargers reaching out like hands of gods to force air past the carburetors and pump out nearly 800 horsepower.
This is the fastest Shelby that you've never heard of. It's called the Cooper Monaco King Cobra. The chassis was designed by John Cooper, and Shelby did his thing with it, tossing in a 4289 V8.
The Ford's team couldn't figure out how to make cars stay firmly on tarmac, let alone run continuously for 24 hours, too much for a win in Le Mans. After losing to Ferrari at Le Mans in 1964 and 1965, Ford turned to the legendary Los Angeles car designer Caroll Shelby, one of the only American drivers to ever win Le Mans, to run race operation.
After a challenging start, Shelby and his trusted friend, go-to test driver, the engineering specialist Ken Miles, reinvented the GT40, and ultimately Ford won at the Le Mans, which was a sensational win for Shelby and his crew. Ford went on to the history books for their spectacular track record that day, mainly because and Ken Miles and his efforts.
Sadly, Miles died before he could race at Le Mans again. Late in 1966, he was testing another Ford race car at the Riverside International Raceway in California when he lost control and crashed. Miles did not survive the accident.
But further, Shelby moved on to develop many masterpieces alongside Dodge after the demise of Miles. Alongside Dodge, he created the Dodge Viper. After almost a decade of tuning work, Shelby was brought on board as the performance consultant for the Dodge Viper. He worked with Dodge on numerous occasions until he was also diagnosed with several medical conditions and finally passed away on May 10, 2012, aged 89. The world can never forget him for his contributions towards the American automotive industry and the changes that he brought along with him. So thank you guys for tuning into this week's podcast, and please don't forget to like, share and subscribe if you're new around here.
Bye.